Well, hi, hello, how are you? In this video, we are going to talk all about rosemary. Not just any version of rosemary, rosemary oil, rosemary tea, rosemary butter for hair growth, skin repair, and so many other things. By the end of this video, you are going to know the pros and cons of rosemary and how it contributes to hair growth. And by the end of this video, you'll understand everything that there is to know about the Maya Organics craze and as it pertains to rosemary oil. So, to learn more, keep on watching. I'm Cyn Doll. I am a licensed cosmetologist, herbalist, and scientist, amongst a couple of other things. Don't get mad at me, but just like cloves, watch this video here. Rosemary is not growing your hair, but it is repairing your hair from the things that you could have done in the past. But before we go anywhere, let's break this down. Oh yeah, subscribe to my channel, click the bell notification so you're notified every time I post another video. Make sure you pull your notebooks out and take notes, because everything that I'm going to tell you for rosemary also goes for the following herbs. Rosemary falls into the category with basil, sage, thyme, lavender, and mint, just to name a few, okay? And they all fall into this category of herbs. Now, the translation for rosemary actually just means dew sea. Rose means dew, and then the rest of the word means sea. So the translation of the word is dew sea. Now, rosemary can withstand very, very harsh climates. Like, I live in Las Vegas, Nevada, and there are rosemary bushes everywhere because they can survive in really, really harsh weather, and it gets really hot in Vegas, like 120 sometimes. Rosemary has quite a few different things that have been used since the beginning of time, okay? Because rosemary and its usages go way back to ancient civilizations, and it is one of the oldest herbs noted to date. Knowing that rosemary is one of the oldest herbs out here in the streets, you should then start to research and figure out how were they using it and why were they using rosemary back in the day, right? What are its properties? Helps you to focus, and it helps with memory. All right, that's one. And then the next thing is it helps with blood flow and blood circulation, which is really imperative for something like healthy hair growth or healthy skin, healthy nails. Your blood flow is going to be really important for that. It's important for everything, but it's really important for that. If you are a person who's dealing with headaches, if you deal with headaches a lot, they would recommend rosemary oil for headaches or rosemary tea for headaches. And lastly, and I mean not necessarily lastly, but lastly in this conversation, is a mood enhancer. So just the scent of rosemary alone was enough to elevate a mood or to change the mood in general. All right. Now, just like with cloves, please watch Clove, the video on cloves, if you haven't watched it already. The key is going to be in the volatile oils. It is within the oils of these herbs and within these roots, within all of these botanicals, right, that give you its nutrients, but it's only when it's extracted in a certain way, and it has to be used for a specific thing. Let me explain. The main two contributors are found within the leaves of rosemary. If you look at rosemary, it has a bark and then there are leaves, you know, little thorny bits attached to it. And the two main things, now these two act as antioxidants within the body. So for the next set of words that I'm going to be breaking down, I really want you guys to pay attention to the purpose of all of these herbs and botanicals, because there are certain herbs whose main objective is to help grow your hair, to help you produce produce new hair growth cells and things of that nature. But for rosemary and cloves and things of that nature, that is not the objective of these herbs. So as we begin to break down its properties, I want you to make sure that you're researching all of the definitions of these properties, so that way you're not taking my word for it. You learn how to break down things step by step. Number one, the very first property that we're going to go over when we're talking about rosemary is the presence of antioxidants that live within its volatile oils. Now, here are the two main antioxidants that we are dealing with, and this is the role that antioxidants play within the human body. Super important, right? Rosmarinic acid is one of the main acids associated with rosemary oil, and this is one of the things that give you all of the amazing properties that you guys are reading about online, or that different people who have made YouTube videos are talking about. All right, it's this acid right here. Along with this acid here, doctors and scientists believe that this combination is extremely powerful. These two acids alone act as the most active bioactive antimicrobial compound. This compound is so freaking powerful, you guys, because this compound helps to clear all bacteria. All right, but so remember, throughout history, rosemary has been used for its antibacterial, antimicrobial, and antiseptic properties. So bottom line, throughout history, rosemary has been used to get rid of different types of bacteria infections that live on the scalp and within the body. So stay with me. The bioactive compound is found within the leaves, all right? And within the leaves lives the volatile oil. If within this ebook, I teach you guys all about the different amino acids that the body needs to produce healthy hair, skin, and nails. And as you can see, rosemary holds most of these amino acids that I teach you all about within my ebook. And within that ebook, I also tell you what other fruits and vegetables that you can eat and ingest within the body to intake these amino acids on your own, okay? Because that's what you need to do. Adding rosemary to your diet will increase the growth of healthy bacteria within the gut. And I know that probably sounds so far-fetched, but did you know that your gut health being imbalanced could be the #1 reason why you're noticing balding, thinning, and problems with your skin, like weakness in your nails, outbreaks, and things of that nature? It could be all because of your gut health, and rosemary can help. Let me explain. You know how as soon as somebody watches a video on social media, they're automatically an expert in whatever that thing is that they watched the video on? But when it comes to biotin, everybody wants to take supplements, but understand that most of the things that we need in the body are produced within the body. So when your gut health is imbalanced, one of the first things that you'll start to notice is your skin being off balance and your hair being weaker and your hair beginning to shed more. Why is that? Well, did you know that biotin is produced within your gut? Biotin is produced by your microbiome within your bile, right? Within your boo-boo. That is where biotin is produced, right? So when you drink rosemary actually prompts your body to begin producing more of those molecules. It begins to create more of that good bacteria, because remember, you have good bacteria and you have bad bacteria, and you need a good balance of both of them to have healthy hair, skin, and nails. So stick with me, because we're going to get to why most people have been experiencing balding with the Mayo products with rosemary. So let's keep going. So this very first acid, here are its properties. This very first acid here has a very, very clear sign and a very clear purpose. So this is why I tell everybody that you can't just play with herbs, because herbs are made for a specific reason to complete very, very specific tasks, and they're going to complete that task, and they may complete some other tasks that you didn't really want completed. Now this one has antioxidative and antimicrobial properties. So what is oxidation? I have a video where I talk more about oxidative stress, but simply oxidative stress is exactly what it sounds like. Oxidative stress is caused by free radicals. What are free radicals, right? Free radicals are molecules produced by the body whenever the body is breaking down food, whenever you are having anything that the body is intaking from the environment, like any type of environment, pollutions, radiation, anything like that. Those are free radicals, molecules that are produced whenever the body is going through its natural processes to break things down. So the body is always releasing free radicals, of course, right? You're eating every day, your body's breaking down things and releasing them all the time. Well, those free radicals are released through the pores, right? They're released when you use the bathroom, and they're also released through the pores, through the scalp and through the skin. This is why you gotta wash your butt every day, because if you don't, it'll smell funny. And this is also why you have to wash your hair on a regular basis, or free radicals will run rampant on the scalp. What do free radicals do? Why are they bad? Well, free radicals cause oxidative stress, and oxidative stress is something that happens when free radicals are also prevalent. If you are a person who smokes tobacco, then most of the time you have quite a few free radicals running rampant throughout the body, which is why most of the time, you know, smoking is not really a good thing that you're supposed to do. An amazing antioxidant. What do antioxidants do? Antioxidants protect your cells, like your hair growth cells, you know, the anagen phase of the hair growth cycle, where your hair follicle is producing new hair growth cells, right? Well, guess what? Boom. Rosemary, and we still talking about being ingested into the body, what it does, it ends up protecting cells against, guess what? Free radicals. It protects against the free radicals, against the stuff that you leaving on the scalp when you're not washing it. Wait. This acid is found in sage, mint, oregano, lemon balm. Did I say peppermint and sage? Yeah, it's found in a lot of different herbs. So it's not just, oh, rosemary is so amazing. No, it's all about the volatile oil and the different amino acids that these different herbs possess. Again, check out that ebook. Free radicals are molecules that are released, but whenever molecules are around, you think they just gonna stay as a molecule. No, molecules get together to form proteins or to form other different things, right? So you go from having a bunch of free radicals, which is the extra bacteria that your body is releasing, you have that free running rampant on the scalp, and then it transitions into something else, which is where the antimicrobial properties come into play. Because when something is antimicrobial, that simply means that it stops the growth of certain molecules. It kills certain microorganisms, or it just stops their growth altogether. So with rosemary having these type of properties, it's not growing your hair. What it's actually doing is killing the microorganisms, the free radicals that live on your scalp, because you're not washing it and you layering it up with product too much. And you're layering it up with too many products. This is directly going to help you to stop the growth of all of the different types of bacteria that you've been leaving on the scalp. So it's not that rosemary is growing your hair. It's not growing your hair. The properties of rosemary are actually just simply helping you to kill all the bacteria and kill all the bacteria, get rid of all of the free radicals, to keep the free radicals to stop turning into different things that are attacking your hair growth cycle. Because oxidative stress is when there are so many things going on within the follicle that it basically makes your follicle detach itself from the blood supply. And what happens when the follicle detaches itself from the blood supply is different forms of alopecia, like telogen effluvium, traction alopecia. No, not necessarily traction alopecia. And so many other things, so many different forms of alopecia, seborrheic dermatitis. And the thing is, a lot of people have telogen effluvium and don't know it. So you use something like rosemary on your hair, or something like clove on your hair, and you're like, oh my god, it's making my hair grow. In reality, it didn't make your hair grow. What it did, it acted as a antimicrobial that killed and stopped all of the microorganisms that were stunting your hair growth cycle in the first place. Because when you have oxidative stress, when you have microorganisms that are attacking your hair follicle, it will slow down the hair growth cycle. So then once you put something like clove or rosemary in your hair, it instantly kills the bacteria that you've been putting on your scalp, that you've been causing to overgrow on the scalp. It's dead, and now your body can move as normal. By definition, that is not rosemary or any other herb helping your hair grow. What it is doing is actually killing off. I'm not trying to poop on nobody's parade. I'm really not. I'm not trying to stop nobody's show. But what I am trying to tell you guys, I'm not saying, oh, don't use rosemary. I'm an herbalist. I love rosemary so much. It is one of my favorite herbs, right? One of my favorite herbs. But the reason that so many people are dealing with like balding and thinning and stuff like that is because anytime a product line comes out with something that has a herb on it, everybody goes and everybody runs to it, right? Not understanding that essential oils are not things that should be promoted to be constantly put on the scalp, right? When you, let's say with Mielle Organics, let's say that there's a reason for you to use it. Let's say you are a person who has always been having, let's say you're a person who always has weaves in their head, and you are a person who leaves their weaves in for 8 months at a time, for 6 months at a time, and you're changing that about yourself. Or you're a person who has had braids, the same braids in your hair for 4 to 5 months, and then you take the braids out of your hair, you give yourself a detoxifying treatment, and then you just use Mielle Organics on your scalp right before you shampoo your hair as a way to cleanse the scalp or detoxify the scalp. Awesome sauce, amazing. Why? Because it's antibacterial, antimicrobial, and all of those different things. But one thing that we have to understand about herbs, now playing in hair products is one thing, playing with herbs is a completely different thing, because we have to understand that the way that you play with hair products, like, oh, I could put this in there and that'll change, herbs don't work like that. When you say that something is antibacterial and antimicrobial, you have good bacteria and you have bad bacteria. So all of the people who are witnessing all of this balding and stuff from Mielle Organics, in my opinion, it is not the fault of Mielle Organics. In my opinion, it is the fault of the people who have been using the, well, yeah, it is the fault of Mielle Organics, because they don't know what they're talking about. They don't know what they're doing. And in return, the consumer doesn't know what they're talking about and doesn't know what they're doing, because rosemary is not something that anybody should be putting on their hair on a regular basis. Why? We just talked about it earlier in this video. Some of the main properties of rosemary is antibacterial and antimicrobial properties. When we're talking about something being antibacterial or antimicrobial, it's gonna kill bacteria, period. Something that is antibacteria is going to kill all forms of bacteria, good and bad. You need good and bad bacteria to grow healthy hair, skin, and nails. else, right? You need good and bad bacteria for your body to function as a whole, period. But for somebody who is just looking online and saying, oh, I'm gonna put this in my hair because it's popular, if you only have, like, let's say you're a person who has a pretty good balance of good and bad bacteria, and you're using something that is antibacterial on your scalp every day, eventually, instead of you having a balance of good bacteria and bad bacteria, what is going to happen, you're now going to have way more good bacteria than bad bacteria, and you need the bad bacteria just as much as you need the good bacteria. So as a result, you see balding, you see thinning. That's why, because herbs are not supposed to go on your hair. Herbal infused oils are not supposed to be put on the scalp on a regular basis. Rosemary is antibacterial. It is killing everything in its path. That's one of the main reasons why you should never use an essential oil by itself. Why? Because most essential oils are antibacterial and antimicrobial, and they will kill every form of bacteria in its presence, period. So that is one of the main reasons why everybody is witnessing or experiencing so much balding, so much thinning using Mielle Organics. It's not that, oh, the products are so bad. It is that none of y'all should be putting rosemary on y'all hair on a regular basis. No one. Any race. There's like, it went from, oh, it was a black woman's product, and then white women started using it and now it's bad. Well, guess what? White girls, y'all shouldn't start using it either, because it definitely doesn't go on your hair. A woman who has naturally straight hair is shampooing her hair at least once every 2 days. She doesn't have enough bad bacteria on her scalp to use something in her hair with rosemary oil on it. So the women who are not black women that use Mielle Organics and went freaking bald is not because Mielle Organics is a bad product. It is because it's rosemary, and you shouldn't be putting rosemary in your freaking hair. Even though herbs are super amazing, even though botanicals are amazing, even though teas are great and things of that nature, you really have to be careful. You really have to be careful upon consumption. You have to really know your body, because before you take some of these herbs, you have to know if whether or not your body can deal with them. For example, if you're on certain types of blood pressure medications, if you're on certain type of medications, you're not really supposed to use rosemary at all. Why? Not because, oh, rosemary is a bad plant. No, it's because of its additives. Not its additives, it's because of the different forms of acid that are in it. It's because it's of its different properties that sometimes don't really relate properly with somebody else. For example, everybody talks about sea moss, right? But sea moss is great, but not for everybody. Everybody should not use sea moss, because sea moss back in the day was really made to make the blood rush. Like men back in the day, they would use it to make you know what I mean? So it gets the blood going. So if you're a person who already has that type of problem, the last thing you want to do is use something to make your blood thicker, because that's what it's meant to do, right? So I really want you guys to really do your research and dig deeper into herbs before you put them in your hair. Again, I'm not saying don't use rosemary, but what I am saying is don't use rosemary in your hair. If rosemary is working on your hair, that is because you have a whole lot of free radicals on the scalp. And if you have free radicals on the scalp, the rosemary is going to kill those free radicals. It's going to kill that bad bacteria. But guess what? It's also going to kill the good bacteria too. And hair weathering and the weathering of the follicle and different parts of the body takes time. So most people, especially in the COVID, they'll be like, I've been drinking it for years. I've been drinking it for years and I'm fine. Well, that just means that your body's a little stronger. It's gonna take it a little longer, but not drinking it for years, putting it on my hair for years. It will take time for the amount of good bacteria that you have to all be depleted. Please understand that. But when you ingest rosemary into the body, oh my god, it's so freaking amazing. First of all, your body is only gonna absorb 40 to 60% of whatever you put on the scalp, depending on what's already there and on the scalp. But when you ingest herbs into the body is going to break down almost 100% of that herb and push it to the parts of the body that it needs it to be in. Remember, I said that rosemary increases blood flow. When you ingest rosemary on a regular basis, not only is it going to be helping the body to produce more microbiome, that is going to then in return produce more biotin, which then in return is going to produce more hair, skin, and nails for you throughout the anagen phase of the hair growth cycle. Like I'm telling you, throughout your life right now, at least like 80% of your hair follicles are in the anagen phase of the hair growth cycle, unless there's something wrong, right? So when you ingest rosemary into the body, what you do is be like, hey, charge, supercharge, and you just like start throwing out more cells, more health growth, more hair growth cells. You charge them up. But in reverse, right, whenever you have oxidative stress, whenever you have too many free radicals running amongst the scalp or within the body, what ends up happening, you lose more and more of that good bacteria. All right, so that is in a nutshell about rosemary. Love you guys so much, but I really recommend that you just simply add rosemary as a part of your diet. Start drinking rosemary tea on a regular basis. One of my favorite mixes is a little bit of rosemary and a little bit of mint. Rosemary and mint are one and the same. So everything that, like, you see a video on YouTube that's like, oh, do this with rosemary, you can do that with mint, you can do it with basil, thyme, and a couple of other ones that I'm gonna leave here on the screen for you to learn a little bit more. Make sure you check the links in the description box below. Head over to my blog and read up on this a little bit more.